Many people are able to describe a time when life seems to slow down. Everything just falls into place, and you do not have a care in the world. I was a young kid, and my family was enjoying this gorgeous summer weather by spending the day around our pool area. The sun rays were beating down as a gentle, cool breeze brought us all consistent relief. The leaves of the giant, surrounding beechwood trees reflected on the surface of the pool, adding a superficial green tint to the appearance of the water. My father was floating in the pool in his usual blue and white lounge chair with an ice-cold beer in his right hand, allowing his mind to flutter away from his daily stress of work. My mom sat next to my older sister as they tanned together and read through piles of girly magazines. My dog, Sparky, was looking like a true member of the Thieroff family as he sat on the shallow step on one end of the pool, enjoying the cool temperature of the water as his black hair sucked up all the heat from the sun. I, myself, was stuck in a constant cycle of jumping in the pool, playing with my dog Sparky, and grabbing countless sugary sodas from the refrigerator to quench my thirst. Every time my mom would look up from her magazine and make eye contact with me, she would give me the most beautiful smile in the world. Everything was great and everyone was happy. Suddenly, an abrupt screech coming from the street in front of our house made us all lift our heads up from what we were doing, even though the trees blocked our view of the street. The telltale noise obviously came from a car slamming on its brakes and skidding, so none of us thought anything of it because the road in front of our house is a pretty busy road, and that happens pretty often. So we continued on enjoying our day. Moments later, I hear my sister say, "Where's Sparky?" from across the pool. I, noticing that Sparky wasn't in my immediate view, got up from my seat and started to take a look around. I was expecting to find him quickly, either sniffing around in bushes or sleeping in the shade underneath a chair. I will never forget the feeling in my stomach when I saw that the fence gate was slightly cracked open. Then it hit me. The car screech. I sprinted towards the end of my driveway as my body got hot and my eyes started to well. Nothing. The street was empty. Then hell broke loose. My sister was crying hysterically. My mom was on the phone notifying the police, and before I knew it, I was nailing lost dog flyers to telephone poles. Sparky was still nowhere to be found. The following hours consisted of brainstorming every possible situation of what could have happened to him, where he is now, and if he is okay. The frustrating thing was that all we could really do was just wait and hope. I vividly remember my mom running towards me through the front yard, waving her cell phone above her head and yelling, "They have him! They have him! He's at the police station!" My sister and I piled into the car and experienced what felt like the longest 5-minute car ride of our lives. At the station, we were greeted by a big, burly police officer. He probably knew immediately why we were there, just based off the looks on our faces. In a surprisingly serious and stern voice, he said, "He's in that room over there. I'm not going in there and getting him." The look on my mom's face can best be described as the face you would make when a beast of a man says he doesn't want to go to pick up a little puppy. I didn't think much of it. I was too excited to see my little best friend again. We all soon found out why that officer didn't want to go get our dog. Sparky was never the same since that day. For the rest of his life, he would growl and try to bite anyone who touched him, with the exception of a few people. Those few people were me, my mom, my sister, and for some odd reason, my grandmom. Apparently, this is what happened to him. He was picked up in the street right in front of our house. He was abused by whoever kidnapped him, and then he was dropped off at the police station. His abuser must have been a male because I was the only guy who Sparky continued to love. My dad, my brother, and all of my friends could never touch Sparky again. We started to receive joking comments from other people like, "How do you own a dog that people can't touch?" and "Your dog is an asshole." Sparky went from being the most lovable little ball of fur to growling at everyone who came too close. He lost all of his trust in people, and sadly, it really wasn't his fault. In conclusion, the entire situation with Sparky taught me an extremely valuable lesson that I can apply to my life. It made me open my eyes and recognize a constant problem that occurs in human society. I learned that you cannot easily judge someone unless you know their story, their past, and what they may have gone through. My friends thought Sparky was a dick. They hated him. But Sparky was the way he was because he was abused, not because he just chose to act that way. I can relate this to similar situations in the world where people are the way they are because of their past. A glaring example of this problem are soldiers who struggle with PTSD after they return home from being deployed. What they had to go through and what they had to experience causes them to act in a way that other people may not agree with. Soldiers who are affected by PTSD can't help it, but they still have to constantly deal with people treating them poorly because of that. On a less serious note, Sparky couldn't help the fact that he was abused, but people would still talk shit on him. My message from telling this story is that it is unfair to judge someone in a certain way if you have not walked in their shoes. Sparky was a little guy who had a big impact on my life.